Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to the garage for another edition of the Sunday show with Andy the Cabby. I hope everyone is okay. I hope you've all had a good weekend. Mine's not been too bad, very productive, and quite productive actually. Very positive things have happened over the weekend. We've got my mother-in-law's funeral tomorrow, which isn't so positive, but we're going to give her the big send-off she deserves. And as such, I will not be about tomorrow, just to tell you that right now. Right, thank you, everybody, for coming. As well, a couple of hundred of you in the chat already. I appreciate it. So hello to everybody. I can see a lot of my regulars there, and everybody's eager and willing to go. So let's crack on with it, shall we? One favour to ask before we start, can you please hit the like button? Now, over the last couple of days, I've done a fair few videos about, well, a couple actually, about Tommy Robinson. I decided that I was going to write in to my Member of Parliament expressing my concern, and at the end of the day, I'm very concerned about the way he's being treated. Not only that, the concern for him, you've got to think if there was anybody else in that position, that'd be of equal concern, wouldn't it? That's the tack I took. Now, Polly Billington, the local MP for my area, wrote back and gave me utter rubbish, which I later found out was a kind of template when I communicated with Paul Thorpe. Again, concerning, because they don't care, obviously. Now, the video I did on that, and you can go and replay that later, was this one, which I said alarming, totally alarming, because, you know, you've got somebody, a human being in custody, and they don't seem to care. This video has generated an awful lot of interest. I've had emails in from people who are telling me what they've done, the letters that they've sent, the reactions they've got. And I brought you a video, I think it was yesterday, this one here, More Lies. Somebody actually communicated with their MP, Jim, his name was, and he got a letter back from the Secretary of State for Justice, who claimed that prisoners aren't kept in solitary confinement, which in itself is a barefaced lie. A barefaced lie. Now, the subject to this live stream, and as you can see from the thumbnail, that's this one here. It's contempt. And you can see a picture of Tommy there with a courtroom in the background. It's contempt, contempt of court. That's what he is in prison for, which in itself is, as we know, a complete overreaction if you compare it to the facts of the matter. I received another email yesterday, actually, where somebody had done quite a bit of homework on this. And, you know, it's worthy of sharing with you so you can see what's going on in the background. And to be clear, where I've done my own research, and I'm no lawyer, I'm just a taxi driver, but I can read and I have a brain. Contempt of court can either be treated as a civil offence or a criminal offence. Yes, you can be sent to prison for up to 2 years, but generally when you look at the list and look at the categories for what you can be sent to prison for and what you can be fined for, I could argue, what the hell is Tommy doing in prison in the first place? It just doesn't make any sense to me. I want to give you this email up here. This is what I received. It was from a gentleman called Ian, and I'll read it to you. Hello, Andy. My name is Ian. I'm subscribed to your YouTube channel, and as it happens, I live a stone's throw from where you often park your cab. So a local guy, I assume. Thank you very much. I have some info regarding the Law Commission that is of concern in relation to Tommy's predicament. See, everybody's concerned. Brief backstory. I wrote to Polly Billington last October on the topic of human rights and safety in prisons. And on the 20th of January, I received a template response, a lot like yours, accusing Tommy of a serious crime. In preparation for a blowback at her, I went to the Law Commission website and downloaded the text appended below. That I'll show you in a minute. In the end, I made no further contact with her, but upon seeing your post, I dug out my previous work. Unfortunately, I discovered yesterday that the URL I saved at the time no longer works, and instead, the Law.com webpage covering contempt now contains a far more bullish body of text on the matter and has eliminated their previous assertion that contempt is not a criminal offence. A bit of a worrying shift in narrative. Of course, my attachment proves nothing, as you only have my word for it. I trust you. It makes perfect sense. But I swear that I cut and pasted text below from the Law.com website on the 22nd of January. As you will see by following the other functional link below, the Law Commission is currently undertaking an exercise in cleaning up our ramshackle contempt of court laws, and the direction of travel, probably under Starmer's influence, is concerning. To me, this change of narrative is a precursor to more lawfare. See what you think. By the way, we can contact the Law Commission directly via a link on the website. However, one or two isolated inquiries will just be fobbed off, of course. Regards, obviously, Ian. So that's somebody that's done their research and, has come to the conclusion that things are a little bit worrying. Now, I'll pull up this next slide. This is the text that he actually found, which he copied and pasted on the 22nd of January. And before I read that to you, if you go to the link that he provided, that's what you get now. Nothing. Nada. And that screen dump I actually took this afternoon when I was preparing for this live. Anyway, this is what it used to say. Contempt of court refers to a wide variety of conduct that may impede or interfere with the administration of justice. For example, taking photographs in a courtroom, making an audio recording of proceedings, assaulting court staff or witnesses. Well, that'd be silly, wouldn't it? Refusing to answer a court's question if called as a witness. It may also be committed by conduct that occurs elsewhere, for instance, by journalists, bloggers, or member of the public, publishing material that risks prejudicing a trial, or publishing in breach of reporting restrictions. Now, he was told not to play that film. He played that film. He knew the consequences. So I guess the end of that is, covers what we're talking about here. Contempt is not a criminal offence, and you can see he's highlighted that. But the sanctions that may follow include imprisonment for up to 2 years and unlimited fines. On average, each year, at least 100 people receive an immediate or suspended prison sentence. The Law Commission is seeking views on a wide range of issues with the aim of clarifying and improving the fairness, consistency, coherence, and effectiveness of contempt laws. So there you have it right there. They're telling you it's not a criminal offence. Bear in mind that this is what the text did look like at that time. But the sanctions may include imprisonment for up to 2 years. That may include, not will include, and unlimited fines. But generally, it's an immediate or suspended sentence. I think, and I'm sure a lot of you will agree with this, that if it was anybody else, it would have been a fine or a suspended sentence or both. I've recently had to attend court for something, I'll say without revealing too much, where the person involved ended up with a suspended sentence and a fine, which was, pretty well what we anticipated, a normal member of the public. But because it's Tommy Robinson, prison, done. Many are calling him a political prisoner. Let me know what you think. Let's have a look at a couple of the comments at this stage, and then I'll have a look and I'll show you what that actual website looks like right now. Hi, Andy. Somebody has to be sacrificed from the reform leadership. Who do you think it will be? Well, that's unrelated to what we're talking about, but I'll give that a stab. Nigel has made a blunder. I've done videos on this, and every time I talk about it, I'm, slated along with everybody else. Reform has to work, otherwise this country is screwed. Now, I think what needs to happen, Zahir Yusuf needs to go. The problem is he's on the board of directors for Reform 2025, which has a significant controlling interest in the Reform Party. I don't think it's going to be that easy. That's the main thing. And I think they need to stop bloody telling everybody porkies and come back in the direction politically which they started. Farage, does he need to go? Will people still vote for Reform if he goes? Who knows? Apologies need to be given out as well to people that have been visibly screwed over by this. And then we might be getting somewhere. But in the main, and from what I've seen with polls and things of that nature, probably ain't going to make a lot of difference in the long run, because people are so worried and so fixated on the fact they want change in this country. They'll go and vote Reform anyway, because what else have we got? Speaking of screwed, hello. Good evening, Andy. I'm an individual of considerable concern who fears that the power of the criminal justice system has been used in a condescending manner to incarcerate Tommy. Hashtag free Tommy. Yeah, it's concerning, screwed. Very concerning indeed. And you're right. And looking at those slides I've just showed you to do with the contempt laws, and I'll come to the thing in a minute, it really is not looking good. Not looking good. Contempt of court is only if Tommy committed a crime. He's white English. His law is Bill of Rights and common law, and no judge, if he pleads not guilty, can act on these invoking charges. Far right thug, you're onto something there. You've got this distinguishment between UK law and English law. The political union, the UK, that makes up all of the countries that sit on Great Britain. That seems to be the law that everybody has to abide by. But, this is England. England. People forget that. So you're onto something. I'll probably be disagreed with. At the end of the day, I'm a cab driver. Ruda Bacana is being treated better than Tommy. Absolutely. You're absolutely right. Tom Robinson is a political prisoner being tortured. Yeah, one of the things, A Voice in the Wilderness, thank you for the comment, I said when I wrote to my MP, I said that when you put somebody in solitary, you have a situation where there is a maximum amount of time they can be held in solitary for. Anything over and above that, forget it. You're venturing into the realms of this shouldn't be happening. And we're there, very much there. We crossed that point a long time ago. Sabina, Tommy's mistreatment will be investigated in court on the 20th of March. Whether he will be there is unclear. Might be a video call. I have heard that, but I was trying to get it confirmed. But I've read other places that have done that. They've confirmed that. So let's hope and pray, fingers crossed, that something comes to fruition there, because what human being could put up with that for much longer? That's the thing. A couple of more comments and then I'll go back to that website. Andy, if you ever need new mods, there are plenty of people up for it and can be fair. Thank you, Blue Angel. Appreciate it very much. I'll keep that in mind. I'm all right at the moment. Right, two more, then we'll have a look. OAP66. Hi, Andy, and all. Hope you're doing well. What can we do is stand together as one and unite the kingdom. Standing together, absolutely spot on. That's all we can do. Keep each other going, keep each other plodding on, I suppose, is the thing. Sabina, hi, Andy. My condolences. Thank you very much, Sabina. Appreciate that very much. Yes, 6th of February she passed away. Funeral is tomorrow. And currently my wife and my eldest son, Lewis, have got photographs plastered all over my living room floor, sticking them all on the boards and everything for the wake after the funeral tomorrow. So we'll try and give it the best send-off possible. But thank you very much. Right. I've showed you, and I'll go back to it. So this was the text that was on the website. When you go and have a look at the link he's provided, this is what you're met with. And as I said, I took that screen dump today. This afternoon, in fact, when I was setting all this up. So what does it all look like now? What did he mean by robust or more bullish? Have a look. Now you can see there's a couple of YouTube videos on there. Let's try and back this up a little bit. Yeah, there's one there, a thing about problem. It's a bit of a crude recording I took. Project. So you can see effectiveness of the current provisions, the appropriateness of penalties, where the problems might arise. Another thing there, another video. It's about 30 minutes long, that thing. So it's massive. So much more information. And they obviously want to... here we go. Contempt of court, consultation and protest. This video explains how the contempt of court consultation addresses the issues of protest. So that is about 30 minutes long, that video. Now, a lot of this, they're saying, has been brought about by what's happened over the last, well, probably 8 to 12 months, to do with Southport and all the rest of it. I think they're trying to maneuver things around so they can justify what the hell they've been doing to people. And there's more of this. Here we go. Next steps. That's important. So the public consultation closed on the 29th of November 2024. The supplementary consultation, so this has gone on, closes at the end of March. We will publish our report in 2 parts following a request from the Home Secretary, Attorney General and Lord Chancellor to expedite work on some of the issues in our project. Part 1 will be published in autumn 2025 and will address liability for contempt and the role of the Attorney General in contempt proceedings. Part 2 will be published in 2026 and will address all remaining issues. We can view the letter from the Home Secretary, Attorney General and Lord Chancellor in the document section below. So there's more information there. So the long and short of it, we've gone from this to this in what seems like a short space of time. A more bullish, more padded out consultation on contempt. Now, reading between the lines, and reading between the lines very much, I think that they've seen, you know, some of the different circumstances that have happened over the last, well, 8 to 12 months. Well, really, ever since Labour's ended up in power, they can see the kinds of circumstances and situations that have transpired. They can see what's been going on with Tommy. They can see there's possible loopholes to get him out, to get other people out. You know, I keep bashing on about this. This isn't just about Tommy. This is about everybody that could find themselves in this situation. It's wrong. It's bad. And as somebody quite rightly said, you know, what law is this? They're trying to tighten the thumb screws. That's the way it feels. Now, I'm going to go through the rest of the comments. Before I do, we've got 1,100 people. Thank you very much. I very much appreciate you coming along, joining in and, you know, sharing in the email that I received. If you haven't done so already, give it a thumbs up. It all helps to spread these lives and all the other information I give around the YouTube algorithm. And if you haven't done so and you're new here, consider subscribing to the channel. Live every Sunday, content most days, apart from tomorrow. So anyway, let's have a look. Michael Hancock, can't believe I'm here on my birthday. Needs must. Oh, happy birthday, Michael Hancock. Hope you've had a good one, even if you were mad enough to come and join us on a Sunday. Screwed Slime, reform has replaced Rupert Lowe. Oh, has placed Rupert Lowe in a concerning position due to his increasing popularity among the members. The announcement of support for Tommy and the aspiration to witness mass deportations occur. Yeah, absolutely. Well, Rupert Lowe is saying what a lot of people are thinking, and the problem is it's more of a right-wing view rather than a centrist view, which seems to be the direction reform seem to want to travel at the moment, and never the twain shall meet. I reckon that's one of the contributory factors to why we are where we are. Cosmic Wartide, the politicians want to keep him as a political prisoner, make an example of him. I believe you. I really do believe that that could be one of the things that's going on. Screwed again, I'm quite concerned regarding their pursuit of Lowe and Tommy, which in my view entails a misallocation of valuable police and criminal justice resources. Again, can't disagree. And also, how much is all this costing and where's the money coming from? Thumbs up, please. Thank you, Tina. Absolutely. Open-ended laws open to interpretation. Yeah, definitely. I mean, again, hang on a minute. Let's show you this. You know, that's what it was. And when it loads up, that's what it now is. You can see it all right there. Reams and reams and reams of information, hyperlinks, and everything else. How much trouble are we going to be in? How many other laws are they going to be doing this to? Why? When? How? It's mad. Absolutely mad. You can see the full lot of it there. There we go. Right, back to the comments. Next one. Handy Andy, I suggest when people are locked up for hurty words, this shows that we're no longer under normal rules. I suggest this should worry everybody. It should. It should. Everybody seems to be talking about being worried about what they say and what they do, particularly people like me online. I'm what you would call a citizen whatever. I come on here and I give you my opinion of what's happening in the world. If I said something that someone in power disagreed with, I could be in trouble. Many people could be in trouble. If you are a YouTuber that supports people or supports an idea and you're worried, there are things like the Free Speech Union who charge an amount every year to give you, you know, legal assistance. If you need it, go and check them out. And I know Silver Fox Hot Takes is actually talking about moving the so-called jurisdiction of his YouTube channel to another country so he can't have his collar felt. Me, I'm the jurisdiction of my channel is, well, in the UK, which is where I am, where my business address is and where I operate out of. But, you know, he's taken that option. Good luck to him. Tommy should be freed and pardoned ASAP. You know, he should have been not in that prison. I mean, HMP Woodhill is not the correct place. He should have never have been there. And efforts to try and find out anything, Paul Thorpe, Howard Cox, I think Richard Inman and various others have all had visits cancelled because of the fact that they could possibly spill anything online. Have been made to sign NDAs. The whole situation's laughable. It really is laughable. Don't know if it will help, but I wrote to King Charles about Tommy. Sabina says, well done, Sabina. Well, I'm not confident, because at the end of the day, what he does is just sign things into royal assent. I'm not going to go in the other directions, but that's the main job there, and his power to do anything is probably very limited. Tommy had top legal king counsel, all thanks to Musk. Good news may be coming. Let's hope so, Bluebell. I mean, there was that option, wasn't there, where Tommy was going to get top legal cover. Nick Alt, I hate to imagine what will happen if something happens to Tommy in prison. All hell will break loose. I mean, thank you very much for the £5 super chat as well. It's very much appreciated. And you've got to look at the thousands of people, literally thousands, that end up in London every time they come out in support of Tommy. Look what has been happening. Loads of them. And if you can imagine something happened to him, he would then become a martyr to the cause. Then what happens? What happens then? Martin, the law in Britain is the law of England and Wales. Scotland and Northern Ireland have their own laws. There is no such thing as British law. People need to start learning. Knowledge is power. You're dead right, Martin. Thank you very much as well for the £5 super chat. Very much appreciated. Say his real name, Muttley says. If you're talking about Tommy Robinson, Stephen Yaxley Lennon. See, I said it. Thank you very much for your comment. The Enforcer. It's simple. We're living under a dictatorship. If you speak out against the agenda, you'll be jumped on in whichever way sees fit. And also, depends on what you say as well, I think, depending on how hard you get jumped on. That's very, very prevalent, I think. Very disappointed with Nigel. Look, I remember with Nigel, when he was here in 2015, my local area, he wanted to be the MP for South Thanet, as it was then. I remember Nigel here during the Brexit referendum. I remember being in a hotel, probably 10 yards from Ben Habib himself, listening to him talk. I've seen all of their previous efforts. I've been disappointed by their previous efforts. And reform, this current iteration, is as close as we've ever come to getting it right. And now look what's happening. Yes, there are big problems. You've got Rupert Lowe, what's happened there. You've got all of the issues surrounding Zahir Yusuf, what Farage is doing with regard to the direction he's going in. It's mad. And then you have to think about how much the media is winding all of this up as well. That's another thing to consider. And it really is it's a cooking pot, isn't it? Ready to go off. Now, I've just been told that Dave 54 has just become a channel member. Thank you very much, Dave 54. Very much appreciated. Usually it comes up on the screen and we can pull it up, but for some reason it hasn't. Blood knows my moderator has just told me, so appreciate that very much. Thank you. Mark, why, oh why, can't we have a party just for us? No virtue appointees, etc. It's a good question, isn't it? Years ago, before 1703, probably, Parliament was a hell of a lot smaller, a hell of a lot more accountable. And it was made up of local representatives from areas, businessmen and all that sort of thing, which were there to represent our interests. And all of a sudden, this whole Great Britain thing comes along, this whole United Kingdom thing comes along, hijacks a bloody lot, and that's where we've ended up where we are now, to cut a long story short. And parties argue, they vie for power, they connive. It's a gutter, absolute gutter. I think June Slater was one that said how sickening a thing politics actually is. I dipped my toe in the water ever so slightly a few years ago, and I nearly got it burned. I didn't like the whole thing at all. Backstabbing, awful. Prairie Rattler, it feels like Farage was just a Trojan horse inserted by the left to waste people's time and energy on something that was predestined to fail. Many people have said that. Many people have. I mean, the one thing that I've seen with Nigel over the years, he gets right close, doesn't he? And then all of a sudden, something will happen, something's said, and boom, and off he goes. I hope we're not at that point again, and I hope we can ride through it. But reform as an entity, if the right people, the right grassroots normal people are allowed to come in and build something, then things can change. But everything you read in the paper about resignations and branch offices closing and everything else, what the hell is going on? Really? When the Royals turn to, yeah, I've seen probably at least half a dozen videos asking that question. Has he? There'll never be a confirmation or an admission of it. The only thing I've seen is a very vigorous, and I mean vigorous, defence regarding that subject. And it was so vigorous, it makes me wonder. Fed up Brits. Farage just wants Tory voters and MPs. He's shown what he really thinks of the working class. TR is a threat to the politicians, especially Labour, because of what he knows. That's why they want his phone. Yeah, I mean, he's got a phone and he wouldn't give them the PIN code, would he? Because of what he's got contained within his phone. And, you know, it's people's information in there he doesn't want anybody else to have. And then all of a sudden you see all these law changes about encryption to do with Apple iPhones and all that sort of thing. Makes you wonder, doesn't it? Really makes you wonder. But, you know, politicians, you're dead right in your comments. Blood knows, when the UK Prime Minister met President Trump in the White House last week, he lied and said the UK has free speech for a very long time. Of course it doesn't. It only has free speech if you're agreeing with the state. If you don't, then woe betide you. Speech doesn't come very free then. Daystate Sniper, I do wish that Mr. Trump or Mr. Vance said to TTK, oh, free speech. What about Tommy Robinson? Yeah, exactly. What about him? Starmer had a safe seat. Boris and UMP, Torsten Bell, Swansea too. Most of those picked for higher office have a safe seat. Cameron became a lord to get back into politics. 30 years is a long time. Absolutely. There's another Labour MP at the moment. I'm not going to name him, but he seems to be right up the back end of Starmer all of the time. And I wonder if he thinks he's destined for high office. Mad. Bob Davis, watch the film. The majority of people involved apparently were forced to sign NDAs. What would have been the result if they were not in place? Makes you wonder, doesn't it? Makes you wonder. I've seen the film, and it was played on that big screen in London, which is what got him into trouble in the first place. You know, it makes you think. It does make you think about what you're told is right and what you believe is right. There's sometimes a very big difference. United we stand, together we win. Absolutely, Day 54. And again, thank you for becoming a channel member. We're wasting time with old MPs and backdoor backhanders. It's time for a new parliament in the city of York, Yorkshire People's Parliament. Absolutely, Stuart. You know, it's a tired out, old antiquated system. Doesn't work anymore and hasn't done for a great number of years. And we're just going through the same old rigmarole again and again. And there's no end in sight. Why isn't there? Why isn't there an end in sight? Why are we all still believing the same old rhetoric about split votes, about not voting for them to get them in? It's tiresome. It's twaddle, absolute twaddle. Did somebody say mass deportations? They're playing my song. Absolutely. It's very simple. You know, they take the word deportation and run with it. But let's boil it right back. if you have somebody, let's say I want to go and live in, let's pick a country, Portugal. All right. I'm going to go and live in Portugal. When I get there, I'm going to get somewhere to live. I'm going to get a job so I can work. I can pay my way, pay my bills, and become a productive member of society. I will obey the law. I will try my best to enjoy and soak in some of the local custom and fit in. That's what you do. I'm English through and through, and I'll always be English. But if I live and work in another country, I will do my best to fit in with everything that's there. And then I will live a happy and productive life in the place I choose to. But let's look at it on another. If I go to Portugal and if I sneak in and I play a blinder and I mess about, I don't work, I sponge off the state, I shoplift, I beat people up, or I do any other number of questionable things, do you know what I expect to happen to me? To be kicked straight out and sent back to old Blighty. That's what I'd expect. So if you swing that round and we've got all these people flooding into here and we have no idea who they are, where they've come from, and what they intend to do when they get here, and we have a problem with oofing them out when they're bad, what is the problem? It's simple logic, really. We have to protect our own citizens, and it's not happening. Why? By design? A lot of people are starting to say so. Rob W., do you think Lockheed Martin will tell us about the SR-72 this year? Above my pay grade, Rob W., I have not got the foggiest. I'll have to look into it. Rupert Lowe for leader of a new party, Ben Habib as deputy, Andrew Bridgen as health secretary, Liz Truss start up a non-biased media channel. Can the civil service and judiciary and replace them? That's a wonderful vision, isn't it? I mean, if those two started a political party now, the first problem you have is we've only got 4 years. The second problem you have is there is a great deal of the population that still believe that we as a people only have two viable political choices, and therefore we will vote that way to block everything else out. In short, I don't think 4 years is long enough. Now, what worries me is it our kids that are going to have to put up with all of this, or can we fix it now? But I like that, what you just put there. I like that a lot. James, people should start sending letters asking for a judicial review to get Tommy out of solitary and out of prison. Could you imagine it, right? Being stuck in a box. I think it's 22 hours, 24 hours every single day, let out for a little bit of exercise, not trusting your source of food, where that's coming from, not trusting people, having your visitors played around with, communication disrupted, irregular contact with your family, all of that, and you're still alive. You know, that's going to play havoc with your mental health, absolute havoc. You know, I did a video on mental health earlier. Go check it out. Michael Hancock. So many police are becoming disheartened. They join with good intentions, but are let down by upper management guidelines. Yeah, my dad, he's a retired police officer, as I've said many times, and he gets a magazine, which all the retired police officers get. And it's keeping in touch with old colleagues and all that sort of thing. And he showed me a really humorous picture. It's black and white, probably from the early 80s. It's about his time. And it was the police removing the shoelaces from troublemakers outside of a train station so they couldn't run around and scarper and cause trouble. And they were told that they could get these back from the police station the next day. If you did that now, you'd be sacked. They used to call it the Ways and Means Act. Get the job done by any means necessary. Spark Swain. I fear for my YouTuber friends. Your country has become a scary place under Starmer. Whenever I say something online, I saw somebody earlier trying to claim that I was some kind of establishment shill and everything I say is scripted. It certainly isn't. I've never used a script for anything in my life. Everything comes straight off of the top of the head. Everything I talk about, including now, there's no script at all. So when you talk ad lib, you have a beginning, you have a middle, and you have an end, and you have to join the dots together as you go. And I'm very much aware when I talk how I can put things while still trying to deliver to you what I want to deliver to you. It's a skill you kind of pick up as you go along. But there's some YouTubers that just don't care, and they will just go for it, hammer and tongs, bang, you know, and can get themselves in all sorts of trouble. There's even some YouTubers that put disclaimers on the front of their channels before they go live. I don't know, but I appreciate the comment. HG, always plead not guilty to hurty words and entries on YouTube. X, whatever it costs more for a not guilty plea, and a jury will see your side. I see all these things about guilty pleas. Plead guilty and you'll get a lesser sentence, or plead not guilty and you get more. If I was ever in that position and I knew that I was in the right, I'm not pleading guilty for anybody. I'd stick to my guns. I didn't do it. Proved me wrong. You know, simple. I'm a man of principle and a man of my word. I always have been. Muttley, thank you very much for the £20 super chat. Very much appreciated. Meant Mr. Yusuf, not Tommy. Laugh out loud. My fault for not saying. Yes, his real name is Mohammed. And his middle name is Zaya, which is short for Zayadin or something like that. Last name, Yusuf. So there you go. I hope I got that for you. And thank you very much for the £20. I appreciate it. No leaders have helped to free Tommy. Angela, absolutely right. And you have a look at the subject of this live stream, and you have a look at the template letter that I've showed you and Paul Thorpe's reaction when I sent it to him. It all paints a very sorry picture. Donald Trump won. Pirates never die. Why is there a 1 in the front? I thought you were just playing Donald Trump with no 1. Maybe I missed something. British politics is without consequences. Just changing a prime minister without elections is weird. It's not democracy. Yeah. I mean, we had them changing over a few times, didn't we? A few times. Tony Blair flipped UK law on its head to benefit politicians. Yeah. And one of the laws that got taken out was treason. Did he see a lot of stuff coming, I wonder? Shaggy, we will all be in shackles soon with Masters. Let's hope not. But thank you very much for the £5 super chat. Very much appreciated. It's scary, the things you read and the way that this country is going. There's a lot of people out there, really, that are still asleep. Still asleep. They don't know what's going on and believe everything the BBC tells them. It's a lack of critical thinking, isn't it, in the populace? It really is very scary. You can lie to the people all the time, Mr. Stomer, with your front bench, yet Tommy gets jailed for telling the truth. And that's why he's out the way. He's inconvenient to them. That's why he is where he is. Plain and simple. Now, one of the things that I would say with that whole thing about people being asleep, I used to be. And I've had it very much where I get loads and loads of emails sent to me every single day about various things. You lot are a wealth of information, and you read and you think, my God, and you get to know what's really going on in this world of ours. And it's not quite what it appears. Nigel changed his tune on his tours and his speeches. He said he will deport all the illegals. Now he's saying it's impossible. It's that interview that didn't do him any favours. I think one of the things that Nigel keeps doing is when he plays up to the cameras in interviews and answers questions, he's saying things where, quite frankly, he needs to shut up or have another think about what he's saying. When he's caught on the hop, seems to be where he's vulnerable. It's like with Tommy, again and again, him, Richard Tice particularly, we're all saying we don't want anything to do with that lot, don't want to know Tommy, saying things about him which aren't true, and then hammering and enforcing things. Yes, their rhetoric changed ever so slightly, but what they failed to do in the first place was shut it down. They should have said, yes, he's done his thing, we're doing ours as a political party. It wouldn't be fair to criticise. If they went down that road, it would have been managed so much better than it was. So much better. And then we might be in a different place. But other things have transpired since, and it has got a bit worse. Joe, Parliament was never designed to serve the decents. It's a soap opera to keep us divided. Dominic Cummings did a very good video where he was having a talk with an audience about things, and he said it is pantomime. If you think that all of those run things, then think again, you're mistaken. That's not how it works. It's really telling, really telling. And all of these meetings they go to, they're all predetermined. They know what's going to happen before they go into them. You think about that. Barry, you cannot change things to justify what you did in the past because you're dealt with by the guidelines at the time of the offence. True, can't argue with that. But I suppose it depends what things. First past the post is rubbish, absolutely. It probably worked a long time ago when populations were a lot smaller than they are now, between all the different boundaries or all the different seats. But first past the post, when you've got significantly more people voting in one area than you have in another, percentage of a population, it just doesn't work. You look at the number of votes Reform got against the number of votes the Lib Dems got in the last election, and then you look at how many seats the two parties got. There's a bit of a disparity. It really stood out why it doesn't work. Spark Swain, Trump and Vance knew Starmer was lying about free speech. You can tell by the way they looked at each other and him, hoping they called him out soon. They're no fools, them two, either of them. And again, the mainstream media is really painting them out as evil incarnate. And then when you go in places where it's all infested with the lefties, they're having an absolute field day. You know, it's against the status quo. It's against what they want. And they're really ripping it. Really, really ripping it. Bernard Murray, the simple fact is he lost the first case, went abroad and made a documentary making the same claims. When he came back, he was jailed. He broke the law. No excuses. Bernard, he did. He did. He was found in contempt of court. But is contempt of court an offence that warrants going in HMP Woodhill, which is a category of prison which far exceeds where he should be? Should he be in solitary confinement and all the rest of the stuff that goes with it? At the end of the day, you may not like him, you might not agree with what he did and why he did it, but from a human point of view, it's dead wrong. And you've got to think, if they can do that to one person, could they do it to others? I'm looking at the bigger picture, you know. Jason, Islam needs to be rejected and fought against. I recognise Ben Habib's position seems correct, but he's still it's impossible to know if his position is genuine. I've been in a audience live where he's been speaking, and the guy has genuine passion. You can see genuine passion when somebody talks, and he was full of it, absolutely full of it. And he's followed this cause all this time, and I believe he does have the will or the genuine desire to do good for this country. I mean, I think he very much grew up here, didn't he? And very successful businessman and everything else. So, you've got a right to feel the way you do. And we'll have to see how things transpire. Jeff, I'm 72 and we respected the police as a child, but now they have lost all credibility and respect. Yeah, my dad is 77 this year, 78 in January. So he was with a generation where they did the job properly. Day State Sniper, the only people worth watching on here are Andy, Paz, and Jeff. Bless you. Thank you very much. Very much appreciated. What we got here? Are we going to scrap the ECHR? That's Nick. Thank you very much for the £5 super chat. That's an argument that's been going on for a long time, hasn't it? What are the origins of the ECHR? Are we going to scrap it? What's going on with it? Yeah, do we have our own English version of it that it could be replaced with? Was one who knows? To me, it's a political football, and whether it goes anywhere, I don't know. Stop the world, I want to get off. Yeah. In civil court where Tommy Robinson was convicted, you do not have the same rights as a criminal. That's where I don't get the whole thing. Maybe someone could explain it to me. Contempt of court is a civil offence. You read a lot of the time. So how come he's in the nick? How can you be in prison for a civil offence? I just don't understand that. But then you read what the Law Commission's come out with, and they've beefed it up, and it can be treated as either. Julie Turner, I heard yesterday that Tommy's case is in court on Thursday. How the prison is treating Tommy. It was from Ezra. Elon Musk has funded it, as far as I know. Thank you, Elon. Absolutely, hats off to Elon. And I'll be looking to see, the outcome of that. It'll be interesting. Hopefully, situation will change for him. Any long-term goals, Andy? If you mean the channel, I just want to keep carrying on what I'm doing. I want the audience to grow. I want to be able to bring exposure. I want to be able to bring, what's going on and a real opinion to more people. And I want this community to grow. I've been at it 5 years. I want to keep going. I've never really thought too long ahead, really, with regard to all of this. I mean, it's great because, I run an airport transfer business, and I was doing a fair chunk of the work. But, with the YouTube and the way that that's panned out, I'm able to give 4 other men more work, which means 4 other families get food on their table. So I find it really, really, really satisfying. And I just like to continue pushing and growing. Where am I? 132,000 subscribers 5 years ago. I wouldn't have dreamed that would happen. Karen, you're a very good communicator. I enjoy your channel very much. You're a very level-headed, intelligent person with lots of common sense. We can overcome this dark period by standing together. Karen, thank you for the compliment, and I agree with you as well. I try to be calm and level-headed. I used to be very hot-headed once upon a time, and I try and calm down and take a logical approach to looking at things. You get far further. You really do. Positivity is the best way forward. and not try to be negative like the news. Blue Angel, spot on. Sometimes I think that you have to do your best to stay positive, because I think sometimes the news is designed to make you feel the other way. I remember when Christmas Day was over, me and my wife sat down, poured a glass of something, watched the telly, and I think in quick succession there was about 4 or 5 different news articles, and it was all doom and gloom. And we just looked at each other and thought, what the hell? Just couldn't believe it. Really, really apparent. Carmen, we need to think more strategically, in my opinion. USA really are showing us at least a way out, or that at least so much is really possible. They've just made us think we can't change anything. We can. Yeah. There's too many people that don't bother because they believe they can't. And they've been made to feel that way by a failing system. Screwed. Tommy's cause isn't being best served by closeted superfans that kick and shout at white men who are brave enough to support him. Very concerning indeed. There's got to be something more that can be done. Got to be. Tommy is the UK's Alexei Navalny. Panning out that way. And I hope on the 20th that things change for him. Lee, the whole country needs to watch what Reform do. If they get him from May councils, it's a great trial on things like council tax rises, etc. Watching their actions. Warnings for 2029. Yeah, I hope and pray that those that do get in to council seats do stick to their word and they do change things for the better, because at the end of the day, that's one of the things that we've been sadly lacking. Honesty and integrity. Honesty and integrity, that's all we ask for. And when you say you're going to do something, get it done. As I said earlier, I'm a man of my word, and I will generally do what I tell you I'm going to do. And I expect no less from other people. It's simple. Bumpy Johnson, Andy the Cabby. Do you think Canada should join America? The head of state for Canada is still the King of England. I really can't see it. Can you? I really can't see how that would work out. There was can anybody tell me? There was a film years ago. It was like a comedy, and I swear Bill Murray was in it, but it was where the USA declared war on Canada, kind of a propaganda stunt to deflect away from the fact he was a crap president. Dan Aykroyd, I'm sure, was in it as well, and I can't for the life of me remember what it was. The UK's biggest power grab, how the data use of access bill will control data. The UK government bill is almost at royal assent. This isn't good. How have we let it get this far? I know. It's scary times. Mary, he's being tortured because he tried to protect our kids. End of. Massive miscarriage of justice. Everybody knows it. Yeah. And he's become inconvenient to them. Sending my commiserations to your family, Andy. Love to all your family. Thank you, Julie. Yeah, the funeral is tomorrow afternoon. We've got all the family coming down, and hope to give the old girl a good send-off. 88 years old she got to, and had a bloody good life. Really good life. It's shame it's the only certainty, isn't it? So the lesson I've taken from it, you cherish every moment while you're here, and you do everything you can in the time that you've got, because it doesn't last forever. Some truth to it. And thank you very much, Matthew Whittle Vlogs, for the £3.50 super chat. Very much appreciated, and hey to you as well. Well, everyone, we've come to the end of another hour. So we've spoken about Tommy. We've spoken about contempt of court. We've spoken about the fact that they're trying to beef everything up and change things, so we end up in a situation where stuff's a lot harder. and you can see a little bit of manipulation going on there. It really isn't good. We've gone through some of your comments, not quite on subject, but that doesn't matter. That's what these nights are for, to talk about all of your concerns and worries. It really is. Thank you very much for joining, everybody. We've had a good number. Stick to over 1,000 mostly this evening. Make sure you hit the thumbs up before you go. It'll help the channel. Subscribe if you're new here and you haven't. Just a reminder, there's no content tomorrow because of the funeral. I'll try and be here Tuesday, but see what happens the day after. And in any event, as always, I look forward to talking to you soon. Toodaloo.